World Tune Radio, where the world tunes in. For me, Podcast Network.
was a conversation. So I'm being it.
All right, we're live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to Talks with Nita Bee right here on World Tuned Radio, live in Oceanside. Today, I have a special guest for you, but before I get started, I want to make sure that you tune in. You can tune in through Facebook on World Tuned Radio and also YouTube on World Tuned Radio. Don't forget to click the share and like button so that you can subscribe and catch all notifications that are coming through. You can catch me every other Saturday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. right here on World Tuned Radio. Okay, let's get started with it. So, beautiful, dynamic, inspiring, motivating, encouraging, inspirational. The list can go on and on and on. My guest that I have with me today, Doreen, is here, and she is my first guest to debut on the show, Talks with Nita Bee. And we're going to be talking about from trauma, toxic, to tribulations, trials, and triumphs. So without further ado, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here on Talks with Nita Bee and first guest.
Well, I like to be the first of
Everything. Yes, first. So Doreen, let's just get right into it. I want to talk to you about a lot of things. We only have a certain amount of time, but there are women out here that are suffering from domestic violence and a dark past. They are currently in that, and you have been a strong voice for domestic violence, and you are the monarch for just rising up to the top. So I want to ask you, how was your childhood? How were you raised? And when I say how were you raised, where are you from? And your childhood, was it a childhood that was supporting, or how were you raised?
Okay. I was born in Gary, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
However, my mother and my father, they were married. My father was very abusive. He was in the Air Force. He was on heroin, and how it happened, I was about maybe age 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into the forgetting bathroom where we were never allowed. And so I poked myself with one of his heroin needles. My mother was upset. She actually had to smuggle us out of Gary, Indiana. And here we made it to San Diego, where I say I'm from, Southeast San Diego.
Yeah,
40%
represent.
Yes. 40%
All right.
Logan. And so, yeah. And as far as my mother, single parent, very, very abusive towards me. I got the brunt of the abuse.
Now, I'm sorry, let me stop you right there for a second. When you say abusive, are you talking about, because when we talk about domestic violence and we talk about abuse, a lot of people think that domestic violence is only physical, but it is also emotional, financial, spiritual, verbal. And a lot of people also think that when you're talking about domestic violence, that it's adults only. But it can start from an early childhood. So when you said that
that's when you start molding,
right,
opening that door for that, because my mom was mentally, physically abusive. I mean, I used to have to pick my own switch. I got so good at it where instead of picking them skinny ones, I was picking the thick ones, because them skinny ones, it hurt worse.
I'm laughing about that because I remember I used to have to pick the switches too. And if it wasn't right, it's like you got penalized for picking a small switch, and then they go out there and pick the switch for you. And then you really get it because you picked the wrong switch.
My mom,
so I can relate to that.
She was raw.
Yeah.
I mean, she used to make me get in the bathtub of water and whoop me with the extension cord. So all this molded me to for my way into relationships. I used to eat my sorrow, my sadness. So I made it all the way to 310 pounds.
Was that as a teen or just as you got older as an adult?
No, just growing. I mean, they used to call, when they used to call the house phone, guys used to call the house phone. They say, is this the skinny sister or the fat one?
Oh, wow.
So I was referred to the fat one or the adopted child because I didn't look like my mom, they said, and I didn't look like my sister or my brother. So, yeah. So then going to school was hell because my mom and family members already told me from day one that I was fat, black, ugly.
Wow. Basically
Wasn't going to amount to anything. And the reason for that was because I looked like my father's mother. So, yeah.
So there was a lot of hatred there with your mom towards your dad, and she inflicted that upon you.
Yes.
As, her punching bag, so to speak. Okay. So as a teen, how did you, when you dated, how did you choose your boyfriends when you were a teenager? Did you incur abuse in dating as a teen?
Of course, but I didn't choose them. They chose me,
Okay.
because I was already insecure about who I was as a person. I had no identity, no purpose. So I was just a shell, a fat, black, ugly shell walking with my head down so that, insecurity was already there. So they chose me. As I was still in high school when I had my first boyfriend who was in the military, got pregnant by him. And this is something that no one knows, actually. I was pregnant, had an abortion by him. And that was my first abuse, was my domestic abuse was the military guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you went into from childhood to teenhood, going into adulthood, just with this domestic violence because you didn't know anything else, like the abuse, the mental abuse, the mental anguish, all of this stuff. So growing up and you're past your teenhood, if you will, and moving forward, you're married now. So you're married.
Yes.
So you and your husband, you're dating him. Did he choose you or you chose him? Were you out of that domestic violence?
I was never out of that mindset because that's who I was. Yeah. That's who I was told I was, and that's who I went with. My husband never abused in any way, shape, or form, but I always said he doesn't love me.
Yeah.
Never believed whether that he loved me or anything like that. But I did know one thing for sure. I always knew is that I wanted kids because I would never treat them the way that my mother treated me.
Right.
So therefore, he was going to give me, this is all in my head, what I wanted. And that was a family.
Yeah.
But the love was not technically there because I said I had already put in my head that he didn't love me. He didn't abuse me. He wasn't using me. He wasn't doing the things that I'm accustomed to.
Right. So, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense because that is so true in the dynamics of domestic violence, because you do think that if they don't hit you, if they don't curse you out, or if they are, not aggressive towards you, that they don't love you.
Yeah.
But in a way, I guess you can look at it as your abnormal, which that is abnormal,
it is
becomes your normal. So your abnormal becomes your normal, and your normal is really it doesn't make sense to you. You know what I'm saying? And this is why we don't understand as victims. This is why we can't recognize what love is, because we've never really experienced love, only experienced the opposite of that.
Well, what we believe is love is not in fact love. So, And so my whole life, I have always been searching for this love. Always been searching for love. I mean, if I had to spend money and say, hey, here you go, here's some money. If I had to buy friends, hey, I'll pay for your lunch. Hey, whatever the case may be, I was searching for love. Never found it until I was 44 years old. Not saying that what I mean by I've never found love, because I have three kids. And so that's a whole totally different type of love,
The motherly love.
Right. And then I'm still doubting in the back of my head, do my kids really love me? Because, I'm not hitting them, because I was taught that in order for me to love, you got to beat my tail.
Yeah. That's really something. We have a lot in common. a lot. And again, I just want to say thank you so very much for opening up and sharing this, because a lot of women that are watching this, I hope that it is able to help them in the perspective to say, hey, that's me. That's what I'm going through, or that's what I went through. And again, just being the instrumental voice, a strong voice, because it takes a lot for you to go through something to get over it in order for you to be able to share with somebody else. Like RuPaul, I always keep this motto in my head and says, how can you love somebody else if you can't love your damn self?
Right. And that's facts. That's facts.
So, and it is a true fact of you can't give to other people what you don't have, whether it's love or empathy or whatever. So speeding up to you being married. So you're married and, you're in this relationship and you have the children and, what is life like now? Like in that sense, what is life like you being a wife and a mother?
It was still scary for a number of reasons. I grew up in special ed because remember, I was dumb, and I was told that I was dumb. I mean, high school, middle school, high school, they didn't want to deal with someone that was so full of anger, the environmental trauma that teachers were not aware of.
Yeah.
So they, just put her in the corner, send her to, the principal office, suspend her, whatever the case may be, just get her out of my class, So learning how to read, I didn't know how to read until I was 16.
Stop right there. So this is something that I didn't know about you, and I've been knowing you for a long time. So this is something that I wanted to ask now that I know it, and now that you've shared it. So you didn't know how to read until you were 16 years old. Yep. Is this the contributing factor because they just pushed you away? Nobody ever helped you? Your mom didn't help with studies and whatnot. So how did this happen?
Well, I can't blame my mother for that aspect of my life because she was a single parent. So she did drugs, crack, and she got herself off of crack, and enrolled into a treatment center. She walked all the way from 45th and Logan all the way to 32nd Street Naval Base and got her a job. So she's a single parent with 3 kids, right? So she couldn't really parent because she had to pay the bills. And so I slipped through the cracks or whatever as far as school went. I was in special ed. And like I said, they were unaware of the signs of someone that's living in a poverty, gang affiliated area, somebody that may not even come to school fed.
Period.
So how in the heck am I supposed to pay attention if my stomach is growling?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to pay attention when I'm just went through a whole battlefield to get to the school, And so
young too, like a child having to go through this, you know what I'm saying? Yet alone, we know that it's hard for adults to go through it, but being a child and going through this, and silent. Because you don't know how to really otherwise express yourself other than
anger.
Yeah.
Because I was really, 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 they used to say, oh, she's a bad kid. There's no such thing as a bad child. And I'm going to tell you that
I agree.
It is a learned behavior. It is a behavior that cannot be expressed. So I went throughout, they just passed me through. Passed me through.
No child left behind kind of thing.
They left me behind because I was not educated. So I made it all the way through 16 years old, university is UC. So University City High School is where I graduated from. And it was a teacher by the name of Miss Goodhue. And that's who said, you don't have to be what you are presenting to the world.
Miss Goodhue. We need Miss Goodhues to embrace these children that are going through in these households like this. I mean, because still, even though we've come a long way with domestic violence and, prevention and awareness, is so much still that we have to do in order to inform people and to get people on board to stop this. It doesn't stop, it's a continued cycle, but we can kind of slow down the process a little bit. You agree?
Uh, well, to a certain extent,
Mhm.
I think that we can get to stop if we start at the elementary state. If we educate the teachers, get more trauma informed, and
Mhm,
instead of
mhm.
sending them to the principal office and getting them kicked out of school,
And
we can
time out.
and time out.
Yeah.
Get them mindfulness, get them aware of their bodies. Let's have a different avenue. If we stop it at the elementary school, we'll stop the bullying at the middle school. We'll
Come on.
stop all that at the high school,
Yes.
and we'll learn to be able to handle our, anger
Yeah.
or our frustration and be able to use our words
Yes.
versus our hands.
Correctly. Using our words correctly. Yes. Oh my gosh. So with that, you're married, you have the children, and you've made it through.
I made it.
And you're surviving. You're surviving. Let's get into talking about your real adulthood now.
Okay.
So tell me, what are some of the things that you started going through or started doing, still being in a domestic violence relationship in your mind, if anything else, in your mind, going to work, finding a job, doing things with your friends? Did you have friends that you associated yourself with, or was it just working, going home, and just being secluded in your mind and in your own environment with your husband and children?
Well, I would like to think that I'm an introvert, but I'm not. Actually, after high school, I worked for government.
Mm-hmm.
Then, Department of Defense
Mm-hmm.
as a civilian. I didn't join the military, and then from there, employment. I don't know. It was just one employer just 3 years ago. Let's put it that way. I was employed with this women's organization who was supposed to be empowering women and things of that nature, but it was not actually empowering.
I laugh. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I laugh because, I know, but I laugh because there are a lot of organizations that claim to want to help women, but at the same time, they abuse them.
Yes. And I witnessed this over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not only were they my abuser now, I'm adding on to my abusers now.
Here, yeah.
Yeah. So they, I've watched time after time. I'm training these people, to be my supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowing me, to advance within the organization because of my mouth. I advocate too much,
You're too strong. You're too passionate.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying,
But
because that's what I've heard too. When you go and apply for a job and you are thinking that you are applying because you're really wanting to help and you really want to advocate, being a victim advocate, and you're wanting to advocate, and they're like, oh, she's too passionate. Dang, we looking for somebody that's Monday through Friday, that's going to come to work and be the case manager. And then you leave at 5:00. And if you see somebody on the streets and they getting beat, you bypass that, and then you clock in the next day and take over from, so it's really hard. But anyway, I'm sorry, as you were saying.
No, you're absolutely correct, because, my issue with that organization was that they were actually the abuser to the clients as well. This was a domestic domestic violence organization. And they would actually abuse the women themselves, where these women were still cowering down. And I knew that fear. I come from that fear.
You can recognize it
all day.
Yeah.
So how can I just sit there and let someone else take it? If I couldn't stand up for myself, at least I can stand up for them. And so as time went on, as I watched, others graduate, I met this one lady, and I don't know if I can say her name.
First only.
Holly. Okay. And she something like Miss Goodhue, and she recognized, the sign, and she told me about the program,
which is, if we can say, we can say it.
Okay. Leap to Confidence. And that's where
She leaped, y'all,
I-
and showed her confidence
all
for
the way.
Sure, an ambassador of Leap to Confidence, and we're getting ahead of ourselves because I want to talk about that too. But I want to backtrack for a second. So the people that are watching, when you say the organization abused the clients, we're not talking about physical abuse.
Not physical.
And we have to make it clear because
it's
a lot
all
of people
mental. It was mental abuse. It was completely mental
Yes.
abuse, just as they did certain staff
manipulation.
members. Let me not say all staff, certain staff members. They also did that with them, especially the ones who was more vocal.
Yes.
So yeah,
And more confident and more assured of themselves and more able to have a backbone to say, I know what this is about. I'm not going to lay down and be treated like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
at some point, and I was talking about this with somebody. They were saying, "Oh yeah, we know it takes 7 times. It's going to happen 7 times before they let it go." It actually at least happens at least 7 times, sometimes even more than that. I don't even think that statistic is accurate, because more than 7 times it happens, and a woman stays because of children. A woman stays because they don't have the money. A woman stays because they don't have the confidence in themselves to know, And I've been in, and I know it's not about me, but I've been in the relationship to whereas I always thought like I could change them. I can change them. Like, they're a piece of crap, and they punch you in your face, and they throw you into the mirror, and your body cracks the whole wall and whatnot, and they do all of this stuff, but you still think there's an inkling of a possibility that you can change that person, and you can't. I'm just letting you know. So going back to, because we're going to talk about leap of confidence with you, mm-hmm. and what just happened, transpired. I'm so excited for you. Oh my gosh, I'm so just really excited because I know a little bit of what you come through. Mm. I know a little bit of what you come through with the organization, and, and always trying to motivate you and encourage you. And I bet you was just like, look, girl, it ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you. And you did. You were right. I kept saying, just keep applying for the jobs, for the position. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. But I hope that you do know that, you were an instrumental part of a lot of women that went through that organization. Mm-hmm. Those victims, you were there. And I feel that you were placed there for a reason. And God strategically placed you in the department that he had you in. I think that he strategically placed each and every person intricately into your life for a reason. Because the stories that you shared with me, I was like, this girl is being used in a mighty way. So I hope that you know that.
I do. Okay. I do know. Okay. I know that now. Uh-huh. Let me correct that, because in the beginning, through it all, through the process, mm-hmm. I didn't. I was like, "What is this? My life?" I'm just like
dead end. Like,
I'm submitting. I'm like, forget it. I'm just never going to amount to anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I just stayed there. I just mm-hmm. took it. All right. Well, mm-hmm. I'll just do this mm-hmm. until then. But here, I'm going back to leap to confidence.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going back to leap to confidence.
We'll transgress into it and talk about that program, because there may be someone who is watching that wants to be a part of Leap to Success and be able to actually leap into their success.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, like I said, Holly introduced me to the program. Mm-hmm. I go there and I wanted to quit because this was like digging way too deep mm-hmm. into who I was,
let's stop there for a second. Now we're talking about Leap to Confidence. Tell the people that are watching, what is it actually?
Oh, it's a powerful organization that a group of women who encourage, empower women who have been domestically abused, substance use disorder, homeless, had a really, really hard time in life. Um, and you get into this program through your counselor, your therapist, you know, the shelter. They see something in you, and they're like, okay, she really needs this, you know,
Yes.
confidence, because it's a
push.
step.
It's a
Yeah,
push.
yeah, it's a whole process. It's a step to it, and so I took part in it. I was blessed to take part in it.
Yes.
And it's funded by donors, and some stranger wanted to give me a second chance at life, and here I am. I did the whole process. I actually ended up quitting that job that I was at for 3
That
years.
when she was being abused. That
Yes,
you know.
I gave it up.
Oh yeah.
And then they have you do this short-term goal and long-term goal. So one of my goals was to attend college, because you know, they said I'd never amount to anything, right? So I'm scared. You know, I don't. I just learned how to read at you know 16. Yes, I worked for you know the government and did, but those are things that you memorize, because when you don't know how to read, you start memorizing things. You know, symbols, and you're like, oh, this is what this means. So you're still passing throughout life. But then I found this love for you know education, and then like I said, as I began to process and figure out who I was at age 44, I had
Never
put
too
on
late.
that.
It's never too late.
Right. So I had put on the paper that I wanted to attend USC, University of Southern California, and get my master's degree in social work. And I was like, yeah.
Masters, y'all. Masters. Look at that.
I said, yeah, right. They're not going to accept me. No one accepts me, right? Because I'm still in that mindset, that negative self-talk that I kept saying. And I told myself, if I apply and they do not accept me, I'm done. It's B. College is not for me. They accepted me. And I was one credit short for me to have the program that I was in.
Wow.
And I'm like, me? So I'm crying. I go to USC. You got celebrities paying, lying for their kids to go there.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where
Going
I'm at.
to jail for it.
Trojan.
Oh my God. I mean, and you have women that are out there that are saying, but I'm nobody, but look at her, you know, this happened for her. So for this show, it is to tell you that it's encouragement that you can get through anything. And then also too, I wanted to say that for victims of crime, a lot of women, they go through the survival thing. They you know, they got to survive mentally. They got to survive. But
and tough.
And yeah, and strong and all of this stuff. But we're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to get back to some more good surviving and thriving and leap into success and confidence and talking. My guest today is Doreen, and you're tuning in to Talks with Nita Bee right here on World Tuned Radio. We'll be back, and more to come after this. Funny. Hi, and welcome back to Talks with Nita Bee right here on World Tuned Radio. My guest today is Doreen, and we are having such a good time. We're talking about triumphs to victory and how she overcame domestic violence. This young lady is just amazing. And that's not even the word that there's not even a word that I can describe her as. Doreen came from an abusive relationship with her mother and boyfriend to being in school, being called a nobody. And at 16 years old was illiterate and could not read. And now is attending USC, getting her master's, y'all. So this is just really, really amazing. This story is a true survivor story and thriving. So again, Doreen, welcome back. So
Thank you. Thank you.
we were talking about just all of the mishaps of domestic violence and kind of giving people insight on survivors and victims of domestic violence and how you can be in a workplace and be abused.
Yep.
And, you know, you can take the abuse and not even think that you're being abused, but you are. And it's because of the dynamics from where you come from and things that are implemented in your mind. And we were talking about how the abnormal becomes normal, how you think when someone's abusing you, whether it's verbally or physically, that's love. But we, of course, know that love doesn't hurt. But when you are a victim, that's not the case. Your abnormal is your normal, so to speak. So we are going to jump right back into it. We are talking about Leap to Confidence,
Yes.
and which is a program that an organization or program that's a mentor program for women who are seeking to leap to success, whether they're looking to go to school, whether they're looking to change over in job career success, or just to get into transitional housing. So you went through this program.
Yes.
And you were pushed to your limits in a good way, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. It pushed to my limits, to my fear. Public speaking was never my thing. Of course, I would stutter because I'm thinking that you're seeing me. I'm speaking and everyone's looking at me. You're seeing me. You're seeing this broken,
Your flaws and all.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted anyone to see me because I knew who I was. I was this fat, black, ugly, illiterate person, right?
And that's what she was told, that she was fat, black, and ugly.
Right. And that's what I believe, despite the fact that, you know, yes, I weighed 310 pounds. And then I went and got the gastric bypass back in 2000. And so this body was not the body that I saw.
Right.
So I'm still thinking, you know, this negative self-talk in my head because this was put in me as a child all the way up through relationships and things like that. Despite that my husband would tell me that I'm beautiful. I didn't believe that.
Been there.
It's no way. So someone can give me a compliment and tell me I'm pretty, and I would say, no, I'm not.
Because you don't know how to receive that.
Yeah, I push it away. You're lying. You want something from me. What do you want here? You know.
But if they told you that you were ugly, you were black, and you were fat, that was more acceptable to believe, really quick to believe that these were things that you were versus what you really weren't, if that makes sense.
Of course that it was true because I already knew this. So you don't want anything from me. So let's hang then because you see me, right? Well, Leap to Confidence gave me that not gave me that confidence back because I've never had it, but it gave me confidence.
And pulled it out of you.
Pulled it out.
What was there inside of you, instilled all alone.
Yes. And so therefore, I like to say that I was born at the age of 44. I was introduced to Doreen at the age of 44.
Amazing.
Because I was everybody else.
Yeah.
And I was holding all their shame, all their anger, everything, anger, all that. I was all of them.
And didn't even know who that was. Like, didn't even know who all of them were. They were just people that, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'm just saying.
No, you're absolutely right. I didn't know who they were.
Like, it's just, when I look back, the person that I have known all of this time has always been amazing. Like, to me, we hung out, and you've always been this amazing, strong person, solid person, genuine, no holds bar, and just like upfront and personal and caring and loving, all of these things. And I never even knew that inside of you was embedded, like, you know, the
I was
darkness and the brokenness and all of this stuff. And just to even see her, you know, now is just like, to be like, okay, wow, an added addition to what I already knew or thought.
Well, see, the difference was, here's the difference. When you're abused, you're not taking up for yourself, right?
Mhm.
But when you see someone else being abused, that's totally different. It's
the
like, oh no,
forefront.
this is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you go into
Go to the
protective mode.
forefront, yes.
So that's why everyone always thought that Doreen was this strong woman. And no, I was, abusing myself.
Surviving, trying to survive, surviving. How it is. And I don't want to keep, we have so much time, but I can relate to, you know, you become numb.
Yeah.
And you survive.
Yep.
And you get through it. Whatever it is, whatever that turbulence is, you just get through it. So you've gone through Leap to Confidence. You are the ambassador. And
I don't know if I'm the ambassador.
You are. I'm going to give you that, and you take it. You take it, because that's what you are. So let's talk about, what are you doing now in life? You got your master's.
December, I have my master's.
She got it. That's next week. I mean, as fast as these months are going by, that's next week. So you got your master's, you completed the Leap to Confidence. Mm-hmm. What else is out there that you're doing?
I right now we have the pandemic. So what I'm doing now is staying safe.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
But I am staying safe. But
I forgot all about it. Like I
not me.
I mask it, no pun intended, just mask it and try to keep going with stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. And so knowing that our presidency has now it will be turning over, and hopefully America can come back together, because it's so divided, and we have taken a moral injury, a hit to the very fabric what America was supposed to represent. So
the next Congresswoman right here.
My goal is to work with the military family and also a civilian family as well when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault.
Now, why so? Can I stop you there and ask you, why so the military? Like, what sparked your interest in helping the military families?
Well, for one, my husband retired from the military, Navy, and I did this class reboot on base, on the Marine Corps base, Camp Pendleton. And I met a group of Marines who were being discharged of medical discharge. And they said that one of their fears were that they were going to get out and not be able to have a social worker that understood them because of their military language,
So important.
And so that's what was one of their fears. And with that being said, is that they would have to spend too much time, explaining to the therapist or counselor what their jargon was, and wouldn't be getting that help. So I said, that's what I'm gonna do.
Use me, Lord. Use me.
Yes. Yeah. So, wherever the Lord sends me is where I will go. My direction, it will lead, because I'm the creator of my path, and so will the next woman be the creator of her path. Because once you figure out that you're the one that's in charge, and that you don't have to play the same cards that you've been dealt, you don't have to walk on that same path that you've been walking all your life, that you can pave another
new path,
new road, then you do so.
Path.
And each time you don't have to stay on that one. If that one doesn't work for you, pave another one.
Yes.
There's no dead end.
Pave it until you get it right.
Until you get it right, until you feel that you've gotten it right. No one has the right to tell you that it's right or wrong. So when you feel that it is there, then that's your spot.
And that's that confidence. That's what she's talking about. That's that confidence that you've leaped into, to be able to direct your path, if you will. Because a lot of women, and I'm projecting this to a lot of women out there, because they feel like they're stuck. and they feel like there is no hope for them. I mean, I've been there, you've been there, we
Yes.
all know. And when you really start getting in your mind and you looking at your situation, and it's not a changing situation because you don't have the essential tools to change it, and you don't have that support. And that's what we were talking about in the break, during the break, is that all you need is one person to step up and say, I believe in you.
I see
And
you.
yeah, and that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, someone's out there watching, what would you say to women and young girls in particular, being that you came from a broken home? What do you have to say to those young girls out there who are in domestic violence relationships, thinking that when their boyfriend strikes them, that's love? What do you have to say to the women out there who know that this is not love, and thinking that they can change that abuser? What would you tell them?
Well, we all know that love doesn't hurt per se, because you have good love that hurts, but then you have that bad love that hurts. To the little girl, or mainly, especially the ones in foster care, where because honestly,
that are already having the mindset of neglect.
Yeah,
That nobody loves them, nobody wants them.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
We need you. We want you.
Yeah.
A vision board. I feel that a vision board, because it can always stay up here, but if you don't put that vision to paper, progression will always stand still. Your life will always be on a pause, and you will always say that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But do it.
Yeah.
Create it. Take it out of your mind. Put it on to paper. Meditation. It won't last for long. That pain, it won't last for long. Please meditate. Recenter yourself when you're struggling.
Now, when you say meditate, for those of the persons out there who don't know, meditation, positive thoughts, self-encouragement to yourself, saying that, okay, I can do this. This too shall pass. You don't have to know the Bible per se to encourage yourself. And it's just basically encouraging yourself. And so the meditation, putting it out there.
Yes,
the Bible
affirmations.
Says, write the vision, make it plain.
There you have it.
So you write your vision, you make it plain. Use the short-term goals versus your long-term, because the long-term goals before short-term will overwhelm you. So you do the short-term goals first, and then you'll start making provisions will be made for the long-term goals.
And the planner always helps me too to have a daily planner. Plan that out.
Yes.
And if you don't make it today, you'll make it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But never give up. Never give up. Just recenter yourself.
Yes. Recentering always. And again, like Doreen said, if you don't, if your path goes the wrong way, so you think the first time, dust yourself off, redirect, and create a new path. It doesn't matter how many, because I'm in that right now. Like, I'm creating paths for myself, and I'm just, this one doesn't work. This one didn't work. So I'm going to do this one. That one doesn't work for me. And you kind of got to, it doesn't, I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it says, oh, you got to be like 38 to be and accomplished. Life is ongoing, and it's your oyster, so to speak. And the sky is the limit. And I'm just talking for her. Is there any, as we prepare to end, I just want to say thank you so very much for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for watching. I know a lot of people, I got a chance to check my cell phone and check. Thank you so very much for your support. And watching Talks with Nita Bee. We have more of these to come. I'm so grateful to have my first guest, which I've known for years and always has been dynamic in my life. And we've been through things, and and just always her heart has always been just so right. No matter what, the heart has been right, and I just really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate
you
as well.
I want to say, get my shout outs in real quick. I want to say hi to Marquita and Lakeisha and Eddie and Luz and all of NCCS, Balderrama Child Care Center. Keep making a difference in the community. You all are awesome and you rock. And just want to say also to put my little glasses on so I can see, make sure. So we were talking about the mentorship, and there are a lot of programs out there for people. So one of the things that if you're stressed, if you're anxious, overwhelmed, know that you're not alone. There is a certified life coach offering free services to help you through this time. Now, you can be in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, wherever. COVID-19, unemployment, election stress, finances, you don't have to figure it out all out on your own. Please inbox with your name and your number and your email. And finding your purpose through pain. Take advantage. All services at this time are free. Now, if you want to know more about it, inbox me and I'll get you the information, get you over to the right person that is offering this. And on the ending note, I hope that this show has, blessed someone enough that we've given resources and referrals lead to confidence, this mentorship, life coaching skills, that you'll take advantage of it, because there are resources out here that you can utilize, and it's to help you to further yourself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. In the past, it used to be that things were limited, but now there is openness with everything, resources and referrals, and women's centers that really care, and shelters that really are there to help you to connect, to get to the next stepping stone in your life. So on that note, do you have any shout outs?
Yes, you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. Mm-hmm. There's a new world, and we're here to help. And yes, if you need any resources, please contact inbox Nita Bee.
Do you have anybody you want to say bye to, hi to, love you?
I love the world, so hi world. And I'm never going to say bye, because bye is forever. Yeah. So I never say bye.
Yeah. So. Just see you later or peace out. No, peace out, because that'd be peace and out. No, that don't.
Much love, and we will see each other again.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. You can go to YouTube, World Tune Radio, YouTube, hit the subscribe and like button. And don't forget to tell your friends and everybody about the show. And also on Facebook, World Tune Radio. And then, of course, you can listen to World Tune Radio. It's international. We have people from Hawaii listening, watching. So, it's all over. And again, thank you all so very much for tuning in to my first show, with more to come. And we're going to have Doreen on here again.
Right on.
Just stepping even higher than what she has now. So,
of course.
On that note, have a great week, and I will see you on the next show. Peace out, y'all. Take care. God bless.